whose positive contributions to the Pakistani community here needs no further validation. Sir, we would be really, really honored if you come forward to share your thoughts with us.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everybody. Honored guests from other countries, Chairman, Board of Directors of the Pakistan School. We have Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Sri Lankan School here today. And we have representatives from the US Embassy, the Syrian Embassy, honored doctors, Pakistan community leaders, and representatives of the churches here today. So we're celebrating actually three things here today. We are celebrating two, but there's a third thing. On the 25th of December, you have, of course, Christmas. You have the birth of the founder of Pakistan. And you also have the birthday of one of Pakistan's leading statesmen, who's not the Prime Minister now, but is an elder leader. He's Mian Nawaz Sharif. So it's always okay to come forward and speak. So why do I call him a statesman? Because in Pakistan, most of the infrastructure, the roads, the agricultural development, city development, have taken place under two eras. One was the Ayubian era from 1958 to 1969, and the other was under the leadership of Mr. Nawaz Sharif. We can have our differences with Ayub Khan, we can have our differences with Nawaz Sharif, but the fact remains that for Pakistan's development, these two gentlemen have done a wonderful job. So happy birthday to Jinnah, to the statesman, and Merry Christmas. Yesterday something strange happened. It's not strange, but it tells you that it's not always good to be just smiling and saying hellos. I'm notorious for saying that don't keep embracing and saying Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, Khuda Hafiz all the time. So yesterday I was at two Christmas congregations and I enjoyed them. I went to a missionary school myself. Just before I go on to yesterday, let me tell you that my father, one of my sons, and my wife are buried near my home. It's a Muslim graveyard. About 4 minutes away lies St. Mary's Academy, Lalazar, where Mother Teresa Flanagan and Father Martin are buried in the school. So whenever I go and I offer Fatiha, that is a verse of the Quran, at the graves of my dear ones, I take the 6-minute walk, enter my school, and pay homage in my own language to those teachers. One was a principal, one was the chief administrator of St. Mary's Academy, and pay homage to them in the English language and hope that Allah accepts it. So yesterday so many times I had to say Merry Christmas, I felt like it, I feel like dancing when I celebrate Christmas. It went live on the Facebook page, and like in every community in Pakistan, there is a fringe of, an extreme fringe. And they started passing fatwas of my extradition from Islam on the Facebook page of the Pakistan Embassy. Before the embassy officials could respond or delete it, I told them not to delete them. And I responded to each and every one of those fatwas on the Facebook page. It's very important And you know, when Jesus lost his life, John can correct me if I'm wrong, like, he had turned the tables, he had thrown the tables in Jerusalem, I think. In a temple. So all those of you who want happy, hunky-dory lives, always doing these maslihats, nations don't progress and institutions don't progress until you accept opposition. So you need to accept opposition. And you need to stand up. And you need to be counted. So if the ambassador of Pakistan goes and enjoys his Christmas, it needs to be shown to the world. The hooligans and the thugs and the badmashes, they need to be exposed. You need to answer them. The thing that I hate most in life, and I have a lot of grey hair now, and I think one part of my life is going to end in 1 or 2 years, and I'll start a new life, which will be freer. So, whenever you see opposition, you try to avoid the pitfalls and find a way between. In Urdu, it's called maslihat. In English, it is called, what would this be called in English? Not facing opposition, but trying to forge your way between paths. Maybe a certain sort of moderation, maybe not standing up, maybe being intelligent, but it's very, very important to stand up, face the music, face the arrows and go forward. And this is what, with all his peace, with all his humanity, with everything else that Jesus Christ taught us. So it's very important to find the right lessons, because our human lives should be bent to those people who we respect. Pakistan, you've seen the moderate side of Pakistan. Pakistan has been very moderate and a modern Islamic state, or a modern state, let's keep it a state, except a very bad period. That very bad period started in 1979, when Afghanistan was invaded by the USSR of that time, and we became part of the Western Alliance system to push back the USSR bear. And at that time, we became radically Islamized. And during those days, a whole generation grew up with the warped, fake ideology of Pakistan. Thank God that whereas other nations went down the extremist path around us after 2000, Pakistan made a break with it. And Pakistan started rising up as a moderate nation and changed its course from being extremist. The war ended, it was international based. We did the right thing. By the way, we did the right thing by opposing the USSR's entry into Afghanistan. But maybe we went overboard in ideologizing Pakistan, and maybe the US also went overboard, both of us, both of our nations and the Western world. The Western world could walk away, the US walked away, we could not. Then there is this question of blasphemy law. So blasphemy law in Pakistan has been criticized. It's a law that was amended in the 80s to order stringent punishments to those who were accused of saying bad things about the Holy Prophet, may peace be upon him. The Holy Prophet, may peace be upon him, in his life, he used to pass through a street, and there used to be a woman called Hinda, and she used to throw dirt on him every day. He used to pass, dirt used to be thrown on him. One day when he was passing the street, the dirt didn't come. The next day, the dirt didn't come again. So then he started knocking the doors and asking people, where is she? Is she okay? So can you beat it that the Prophet of Islam, who was as big a humanitarian in his own time as Jesus Christ in his own time, blaspheming him became a matter of life and death, of stopping roads, of cutting off highways. Thank God the Pakistan of today is different. When we don't understand hope around Pakistan and other things, I tell you, those of you, most of you are young. There's some people sitting in the front row who have seen the 90s. The Pakistan of the 80s and the 90s was intolerant. The Pakistan of 2024 is very tolerant. You know, the district officers who manage law and order and the police officers have been told that whenever there is a complaint of blasphemy, you will go and save the person who the mobs are going to attack first. You're going to go and save that person against whom blasphemy charges have been raised. Most of them are fake charges. And in Anarkali Bazaar, please close this door. And in Anarkali Bazaar, which is in the center of Lahore, a female police officer 2 months ago sacrificed her life to save the Christian lady first in front of a mob, to save her and then placate the protesters. They are the same fringe. They are the same fringe which attack you on Facebook pages. It's the same fringe that made this school a basket case. You know what a basket case is? A basket case is an institution that cannot be reformed. It's the dead end. And you'll be so surprised to know that our school in Salala, which used to be one of the best schools of the Pakistan schools, 8,000 Pakistani children study all across Oman out of the 400,000. The Salala school was held hostage by 7 or 8 hooligans. The female teachers did not have safety inside the school. So somebody had to stand up to it. If you keep on smiling all the time near us, things won't be solved. Always finding the middle paths, avoiding the pitfalls, avoiding the things don't get resolved. You have to stand up, you have to take the heat. As far as Muhammad Ali Jinnah is concerned, he is one of the most misunderstood men in Pakistan. Maybe he is better understood outside Pakistan than in Pakistan. So Marcel belongs to a nation which prides itself on its federal structure. You know who was most responsible besides time for creating the US's federal structure? He was a judge. He was a judge. His name was John Marshall. He's Marcel, he was Marshall. Marshall. He remained the Chief Justice, I might be wrong, Marshall, but as far as I remember, more than 20 years. And 3 or 4 judgments that he gave created the US federal system as it exists today, with the smallest constitution of the world, with the largest state rights. He also faced a lot of music. So Jinnah just wanted a federal India. Those of you who don't know the meanings of federal, a federal system is a system in which power is divided between the center and the provinces, where the center does not exclusively have all power, where Washington doesn't control anything, or where Islamabad doesn't control anything, but it is Karachi, it is Peshawar, it is Quetta, and it is, what have I left? Lahore. Lahore is very close to the center, so sometimes we forget it. And the capital of Gilgit-Baltistan, and the capital of Azad Kashmir, because they are also federal entities. So this division of power was what Jinnah wanted. He said, give the 6 provincial areas, 3 provinces. In those days, provinces had not been created. Just give them their political and religious rights. And in 1946, he agreed to keep India united. But Gandhi and Azad from the Indian side probably agreed to what Jinnah wanted to say, but Jawaharlal Nehru did not agree to it. He wanted a strong central India. So then, with Lord Mountbatten of Great Britain, they let Pakistan be created out of blood. Out of blood, no money, no defense. You showed General Frank Messervy as the first commander-in-chief of the Pakistan Army. When India landed its 6th Battalion in Srinagar on 26th of October, General Messervy was asked by Quaid-e-Azam to move forces. General Messervy said that I cannot have British forces on Pakistan side fight British forces on the Indian side. I will not have British forces shoot at each other. So Pakistan had nothing. Pakistan was created to die. No finances, no defense. 5 million refugees running, carrying their injured and dead bodies from eastern Punjab. The leader of Pakistan had terminal tuberculosis. Terminal tuberculosis. He was speaking, having his caravan cigars and dying. He lived 1 year. 1 year and some. Skeletal. Some of the pictures which we show of Jinnah are not right. He was a skeleton with no muscle or nothing on him in the last year of his life. So no leader, no defense, no money, and the state was meant to just go down and walk back into the Indian Union. And then, with sheer determination and many other factors, including the Korean War, in which Pakistan's raw material prices raised up 4 times and Pakistan was saved. So you have started off as a very, very delicate state. We are very thankful. At that time, in Pakistan, sometimes we only blame the US, and I'm not saying because Marshall is sitting here. When we needed wheat, we got wheat under the food security program of the US. Our defense forces were made by Khan with the help of the US. We became members of SEATO and CENTO, and we had our differences with the US. but your armed forces were built from scratch by Ayub with the help of the United States. Many problems which we faced later on. Khrushchev wanted to destroy Peshawar with a bomb, and we had many phases, many differences. But whenever you criticize the US, also remember that the US has been a partner in education, in development. Sometimes they ask us things that we can't do. At that time, we should tell the US, sorry, we can't do this. And thankfully, they tolerated the development of our nuclear program because we were their allies in Afghanistan. It's a big, big bonus. Today, our state is secure because of that. So, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a moderate person who just wanted federal rights for the provinces. And he gave his life for that. But he did not want a theocratic state. He did not want a laboratory where you would experiment with various forms of Islam. He wanted prosperity, peace, and religious dignity for Muslims, but not a lab to have a theocratic state. We have the honored Deputy Head of Mission from Syria. As a brotherly countryman, we wish to see the territorial integrity of Syria remain intact. As a Pakistani and as a human, I want the Israelis to get out of Syria. Out. Would you clap for that, please? I don't want Syria to go the way of an Iraq. My heart goes out to you. There's nobody from Lebanon. We want the territorial integrity of Lebanon. We want the territorial integrity of Syria. Pakistan will always morally stand with the Palestinian people and condemn the atrocities in Gaza, like Oman. We certainly don't want any Israeli civilians to be hurt too. No, we don't want them to be hurt. But when you look at the hurt that went on 7th October, you should realize that Palestinians have faced discrimination, disease, deprivation, lack of dignity, extradition, extortion since 1947. If you condemn a nation to that fate, a fringe will rise and attack you. You cannot isolate 7th October from the deplorable history of the atrocities meted out to the Palestinians for 50 years. Can't do that. So there is no equivalence. There is no equivalence in the atrocities being meted out to the Palestinians and what happened, what the Hamas rockets did or whatever they did inside. You cannot kill international leaders. You cannot assassinate them. It's very important to address difficult things. And in the end, when I see the school today, Chairman Saab and the teachers, this school is very different from the school I saw 3 years ago. 3 years ago, kids used to be injured on the play area because it was made of concrete. 3 years ago, all the playing areas in most of the schools were junk, concrete jungles. Water coolers in Salala did not work. The school was earning deficits of such huge proportions that it was likely that it would be privatized and then it would no longer remain a community school. Today, you probably have made the school a millionaire. Can I say that? 1 million? 1 million in surplus. All fees are collected. Those parents who cannot pay fees are helped by the embassy and the school and the Pakistani community. There is the Cambridge curriculum now. Running 2 streams of curriculum is such a difficult job. The worthy chairman of the Sri Lankan school was just telling me that they only run one curriculum, the Edexcel curriculum. You run 2 curriculums. The fact that you are celebrating Christmas, the fact that you are in close collusion with the church right behind your wall, the fact that your female cricket team was Oman champion a year ago, there's so many things. This fact that you have these electronic boards in all classrooms. I'll just speak in Urdu. मैं जब आया था मुझे पता है सड़क पे क्या कहते थे ये लोग, कहते थे मजदूरों के बच्चे पढ़ते हैं, इन पे ज्यादा तवज्जो देने की जरूरत नहीं है. जरा आज देखो मजदूरों के बच्चे डिजिटल बोर्ड्स पे लिखते हैं. मजदूरों के बच्चे हार्वर्ड जाएंगे, मजदूरों के बच्चे ऑक्सफोर्ड जाएंगे, इसी स्कूल में से जाएंगे. अभी सर ने मुझे बताया 5 of his children are eminent doctors. Someone is in the US, someone is working in PDO, engineers, doctors. But this will further improve. There'll be an international school thanks to the Oman government. Because of your efforts, they gave you a piece of land to have an international Pakistani school in Mabella. After 40 years. I also want to thank those community leaders sitting in the first 2 or 3 rows. If I take the names, Zee Kamar and everyone there. These are those youngsters who stood with the school. These are those youngsters who resisted thug pressure. It's because of your bravery. You stood with me. You still face threats. The social media is a very good place to threaten people. But you have faced the most difficult times, and now it's a time to rejoice and celebrate. I studied in a Christian missionary school. Those were the best 7 years of my life, class nursery to class 7. In every town of Pakistan, there is such a school that has given us liberal arts. The leaders of Pakistan study there, but most of them forget and are not able to proclaim openly that that's what Christianity has given us. Moderation to Pakistan. Modernism to Pakistan. So these things have to be said by somebody. I want to thank the 2 reverends here. The Christian community of Oman played a pivotal role along with the youngsters of the elite group. The Kamar is sitting here, the whole group. In the expo, the first ever expo in the history of Oman that was held here. Mia Riaz went to Pakistan for 20 days. For 17 days, he was surrounded by prospective businessmen who want to invest here. Do you now realize what a miracle you have done? You have opened the closed door of economic cooperation between Pakistan and Oman. Most importantly, all of you, especially the teachers of this school, have given meaning to my life. Usually spending life as an ambassador, attending functions, meeting the rich and the powerful, and going home and sleeping or playing golf is a ridiculous thing to do. Absolutely ridiculous. You have to stand up for your ideals. You have to make things happen. And Amir Hamza, you and your board, they made me fulfill my almost impossible dream. 500,000 deficit, brink of bankruptcy. In 2 years, you're 1 million in profits. I think maybe Harvard should do a study on it. What happened in those 2 or 3 years? We'll hopefully we'll not let the hooligans take over the school. My successor, Ambassador Naveed Bukhari, is an eminent Pakistani diplomat. He is very well regarded in service, and I'm sure with the team sitting here, they will ensure that the school goes to even greater heights than it has gone. They'll make sure that the trade window, the impossible trade window that has been opened between Pakistan and Oman, he will make sure that it will be continued. You must support him. Must support him. And inshallah, the dream won't die. The dream won't die again. Thank you all for making these 3 years of my life very, very productive and something which I'll cherish. I can't help it, but I'm a teacher. So let me ask you, which is the poem in which the poet sits down on his sofa, closes his eyes, and remembers something? John, I knew you would have the answer. You were not supposed to be answering this. So it's the daffodils when oft upon my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, I'll think of the Pakistan school. Thank you very much.